Okay. And we humble ourselves and pray for God. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. O God, our loving Father, we are here before you, coming to attend this session. We call upon your Spirit to guide us through, make us understand, give us wisdom, such that at the end we can write something in our coming examination. We ask all this through Christ our Lord. Amen. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much for the word of prayer, Panyamul SS, and thank you so much everyone for joining this session. We are here for entrepreneurship. We shall be opening the chat at a later time in case of any questions, such that we can be able to concentrate. But in case of any questions, still feel free to raise up your hand, and then you can make any submission, or you may be able to ask anything that you may want. At this point, allow me to welcome our facilitator, Teacher Richard, to take us through the session. Teacher Richard, you're most welcome.
Thank you, sir. I want to appreciate everyone who has taken time to join us this evening to have our lesson of entrepreneurship, UCE, as we prepare our candidates for the final examinations. I know time has run out, the days are numbered, and we need to polish our candidates so that they get well prepared and be able to get us the grades that we would wish them to get in this good subject of ours. I'm trying to share the screen here, so you'll allow me to do the sharing of the screen so that we are able to follow all of us at the same time.
Teacher Richard?
Yes, sir, I'm trying to share the screen here, or else you can be sharing the document I sent you.
Yes. Teacher Richard, is
Okay.
it allowing?
Yes, you share that document if possible, because my gadget here is not allowing.
Teacher Richard, hope you can see it.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm able to see it. Thank you. So once again, I want to welcome all of you to this evening session of ours of having an interaction in entrepreneurship. The session is going to be interactive. I will take the first 30 minutes, and then I will allow you to also engage in the rest of the time so that we discuss the sample questions I've put down there. They will be displayed on the screen so that we get some students to discuss them and we see how they are standing in as far as approaches to different items is concerned. Because if I continuously do it from the beginning up to the end, you may not exactly be hands-on on what I'm targeting you to achieve this evening. So the sample questions I'll put down there, we are going to go through them together, but individual schools will do the discussion part. And I call upon learners who are ready. When that time comes, please, you carry up the hand, and then we shall give you an opportunity to try and give us the necessary responses. Once again, I want to start by going through the nature of setting because it's important to know about the nature of setting. I have said the paper consists of two sections, and that's section A and section B. Like we are all exposed to last year's paper, we saw that entrepreneurship had 5 items. That was section A having 3 items, which were compulsory, and section B had 2 items, of which a candidate was required to choose 1 item, bringing us to a total of 4 items. The reason as to why candidates were choosing 4 items basically refers to the elements of constructs that were incorporated in the entrepreneurship syllabus, where we looked at the 4 major elements of constructs. As we shall proceed with them and understand which constructs brings which topics. And basically here I've said the item numbers set on the element of construct. It is important to, as a candidate, to know that different topics do fall in different elements of constructs. So in a bid to prepare for the final examination, you need to realize if I'm revising this particular topic, which item am I trying to understand? Because there's also taking a lot of time when you are revising topics from the same item. You reach a paper, you find yourself when you are disadvantaged, all the items you have been concentrating on maybe land in item 1. So by the end of the session this evening, we would have understood which topics contribute to item 1, which topics contribute to item 2, 3, like that. And I will also make a statement on some of the possible changes that we are expecting in the entrepreneurship paper. Because like I said, initially last year, there were 5 items, 3 in section A, and then 2 in section B, giving us a total of 5, of which you would choose 1 from section B to add on the 3 compulsory of section A and make 4 in number. This time round, there remain 4 items to select, but then there are some changes where item 3, possible changes, expected changes. Item 3, which was pushed in section B and was called part 1. So section B is likely to have part 1 having item 3 and item 4, and then it will have part 2 having item 5 and then item 6. But we shall go into those details after looking at these elements of construct and know why
item 3 was pushed into section B part 1, and they had to include 2 items instead of the 1 initially. So basically, these elements of construct where items come from in entrepreneurship, they are majorly 4. And I've talked of the business startup process. We also look at how to manage a business. That's managing a business. When you start a business, you need to manage it. And then a business needs other support services. So we shall also look at the different, we appreciate the support services, and then we apply the bookkeeping skills, because we need to keep records in our businesses that we conduct to make it a complete one and a bit sustainable. So those are some of the things we are going to focus on this evening. And then after sharing these elements of construct, knowing which topic goes where, which part is found where, we shall now enter into discussion questions, where I will give you a chance to come on board and discuss as we make some corrections so that we can perfect. And in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, when you face the paper, you are able to put what is right. Entrepreneurship is one of the per se is one of the easiest subjects you can quickly hook the marks, especially when you enter the paper well prepared. You need just to be well prepared. The subject is really, really passable for a learner who has prepared. So I have grouped them. There are 4 items, rather constructs: construct 1, construct 2, construct 3, and construct 4, which gives us the 4 examination items. Now, in item 1, the element of construct, Mr. Kaziba, scroll a bit and you see. Okay, there. Okay. In item 1, we realize that the element of construct is appreciates business startup process. So we are going to identify all those topics that enable an entrepreneur to start a business. Because for you to be referred as an entrepreneur, you must have started a business. But then to start a business, there are some preliminary activities you have to engage in order for a business to become a success, to go ahead and manage it. So the order of the topics from senior 1 to senior 4 does not necessarily mean that that's the order of the items, not at all. You'll realize that some of the things you studied on day 1 when you joined the senior 1, for example, qualities of an entrepreneur, is not even in item 1. Instead, you'll find the qualities of an entrepreneur in item 2. So it's not about the arrangement of the content you had from senior 1 up to senior 4, but it was according to the grouping of the elements of construct. So item 1 will have these following topics when you are going to start a business. First and foremost, you need to understand the type of business you are going to engage in. And that takes us to our senior 1 second term topic of businesses in Uganda. You must have looked through businesses in Uganda. And in businesses in Uganda, you talked about the majorly 4 businesses. That's the manufacturing. If you're not in manufacturing, then you must be in agriculture business. If you're not in agriculture, you are in trading business. If you're not in trading, then you are in a service business. Those are the major 4 types of businesses. All the others, are merely examples of these major 4 types of businesses. So as you are planning to start a business, first identify the line of business or the type of business you want to be in. And in this case, maybe you want to be in manufacturing, maybe you want to be in trading, and all these different types of businesses have got very many examples of businesses you can operate under. Take an example. If I've chosen my type of business to be maybe manufacturing, I want to engage in manufacturing as an upcoming entrepreneur. One may say, I want to engage in the production of bread, bakery business. Another can say, I want to deal in fruit production or juice production. Another can say, I want to engage in the manufacture of maybe clothes. It is we are all falling under manufacturing, but under different examples. And that takes us to business ideas. Now that I've gotten the type of business I am to engage in, what I've been mentioning are literally ideas. Bakery, maybe I want to be in poultry production. I want to engage in juice production. Those are called ideas. So you need to come up with the different ideas. Now, of the different ideas, you need to select one because you don't have resources to put in all of them. You need to select one. Maybe I've decided I'm going to engage in poultry farming. Now that, of course, poultry farming falls under agriculture business. Let me say I'm in manufacturing. I've decided to go for a bakery instead of juice production. Now, if I go with bakery, the bakery becomes my business opportunity. A business opportunity is any business idea that can be turned into a profitable business. Any business idea that can be turned into a real practical business is a business opportunity. So ideas are always many, but if we narrow on one, then it becomes an opportunity. How then do you choose the best business opportunity? You must have carried out what they call research. And that's why you had what they call market research in your senior two second term work. You must have gone through market survey or market research. So to choose the best business opportunity, you must have carried out market research. So about the different ideas, maybe carried out research on bakery. Maybe I also carry out research on juice production and identified that bakery is more profitable than juice production, basing on the results you have found from your market survey. So meaning from the type of business to business ideas we have generated to now choosing one business opportunity, and then that one business opportunity was as a result of conducting market research. But to conduct market research, there must be some methods you use to conduct it. And that means you will have to use methods like questionnaire, interview method, sampling, observation, SWOT analysis, etc. I want to dwell more on a questionnaire because you can simply come across a question asking you to design a questionnaire for carrying out market research. Meaning, if they ever ask you for a questionnaire, rather a form for carrying out market research, maybe using a method of a questionnaire, just know that that one will have to be under item 1. It will never appear in any other items because to carry out research, you are just simply in the initial stages of starting up a business. Now that you have carried out research and you have found that the best business opportunity is a bakery, you need to understand where are you going to get the money. It's important to know the different sources of business finance. And that's why you see that in your senior 2 work, you looked at sources of business finance. Where do businesses get money? Of course, you can get money from the personal savings, from the family contributions or friends. You can get gifts or donations or a grant from some friends. You can sell the shares in case you are going to operate a private limited company, or rather a public limited company. It is you can inherit property from the family. So all those are different sources of business finance. Now that you have known where you are going to get the money, you chose the type of a business, which is the type of a business, you came up with different ideas. Now you have selected one business opportunity after you have carried out market research. You have known your sources of finance. It's now important to prepare what they call a business plan. But before we enter into business plan preparation, I may not follow the order. Before you enter into business plan preparation, you need to know the steps followed when you are starting up a business. What is needed when you are going to start up a business? Because understanding these steps will also help you to formalize your business. So you need to understand the steps followed in starting a business. And these steps they're the ones even I'm trying to go through. That to start a business, one, you must choose, generate business ideas. After you have generated business ideas, you must carry out market survey. Now that you have carried out market survey, the third step, you must choose the best business opportunity. And then when you have tried to select the best business opportunity, you can now select or prepare a business plan. When you prepare a business plan, you can now complete all the legal formalities. You go and register your business. It is, you prepare a marketing plan, you do the launching, you start production trial. It is all those steps. Of course, whenever they ask you for steps, they must follow an order. If they ask you steps of starting up a business, it does not mean that you have to give all of them. If you are able to remember the ones you have, of course, we are not encouraging recalling here. You must understand them. If you give some, as long as you have followed the correct order, then you'll have some marks to score, as we shall go on discussing. For now, we are still on identifying the topics which fall under item 1 and why. Hope you are now following and seeing why those different subtopics were placed in item 1 under business startup. Now that we have known the steps followed when you are starting up a business, in one of the sources of finance, we talked of personal savings, but we need to understand savings in details. What are savings? Savings is just putting aside of one's income. When you are able to put aside part of your income, then you have done what they call saving. We need to understand what investment is all about, because when you save, you want to start a business. That business you are trying to start is an investment. So we need to know why people save, reasons for saving. We need to know factors that affect investment. Why is that some people do invest? Sometimes you fail to carry out the investment. Factors that affect investment. For every business, you must know where you're going to locate it. Where are you planning to locate the business? So it's important to understand the factors which are considered when you are locating a business. Of course, the commonly known factors is availability of land, availability of capital, availability of market. Whereas I'm stating these points just in examination presentation, you must attach an explanation. In entrepreneurship, we look at the explanation. How part? If you are saying availability of capital, of course, maybe I'm asking for location, the factors you considered when you are locating a business, and you are telling me availability of capital. That's not enough. How does capital influence the location? We discourage this business of presenting just plain answers. Plain answers in new curriculum hold no space. You must attach a reason in the form of a justification, in the form of evidence. So availability of capital, and then you explain it, how availability of capital can influence the location. If you talk of availability of market, how does market influence the location of a business in a particular area? Now that we have known those factors, an entrepreneur should consider when he's going to locate his business. All this we are talking about is that you're just in the process of starting up a business. Then you need to know you need to budget for the business first and foremost. It's important to budget for the business. For those who do the budgeting, their businesses will be successful, because it becomes very easy for you to monitor the business that you have budgeted for. When you talk of a budget is just a tool that shows the expected revenues of a business and expenditures. Where are you expecting to get the money, and how are you going to spend it? At your level, we focus more on expenditures. And the key components of a budget, of course, is a business name and address. And then you give us a statement talking about budget, maybe a budget for Kuku poultry farm of shillings. You must indicate the figure, maybe of shillings 50 million. And then you must have a serial number, the table having serial number, the item, the quantity, the unit cost, and then the amount. And then the total, you must give us the total down there, because serial number will get 1, will give you a tick, and then you realize item will score you mark. We look at the unit cost, the amount, the quantity. That's how they give or draw a budget. And you should always differentiate a budget from a financial plan. Most of you, when they ask for financial requirements of a business, you confuse a budget with a financial plan. These two are completely separable. Then now that you have carried out the budgeting, you had the money, of course, you sourced the money, you know, different sources of finance. We need now to go to forms of business ownership. Which kind of business ownership are you taking on? Are you going to be in partnership? Are you 3? Are you 1? How many are you in the business? Are you going to operate a joint stock company? So it's important to identify the different forms of ownership. Pick one that you are going to engage in. If you are alone, then that takes us to sole proprietorship. When you were joining senior 2, term 1, you must have started with the legal forms of business ownership. So sole proprietorship is very important under this. Partnership, joint stock companies. So you choose one where you want to go with. Assume you are alone, then you will be a sole proprietor. And the kind of trade you are carrying out will be sole proprietorship. A proprietor is an entrepreneur in short. So now that you have known the legal form of business you want to engage in, of course, it could be cooperatives. Some people carry on businesses when they are in a group with a common objective. The fact that you are carrying out a business to achieve a common goal, then you land under cooperatives. Differentiate a common goal from profitability. Partners simply come together, contribute capital with an aim of making profits. But cooperatives, it brings close members who have a common objective to achieve. And then, of course, in Uganda here, the minimum for forming a cooperative, I think it starts from 10 members and above. Then circles, you need to know about savings and investment cooperatives. All that lies under legal form of business ownership. Now, from there, you will realize that you need to finally prepare a business plan. Now that we have reached a level of preparing a business plan, it means we are going to formalize. Having prepared a business plan, we shall go and register our business with the relevant authorities, could be the registrar of companies, so that we are given a license to operate officially. If it's a joint stock company, then we are given what they call certificate of incorporation that gives birth to a business. So it's important to take note of that. Now, in business planning, we realize that whereas we are in item 1, but business planning is a topic of senior 3, term 1, but we are bringing it under item 1. Why? We prepare business plans when you are going to start a business. A business plan is simply a document that shows the financial requirements and objectives of a business. Where are you going to get the money? How? What are you going to produce? Where? etc. All those things are contained in the business plan. And that business plan has got the different components when you are writing it. Among the components that form a business plan, we have what they call the executive summary. We have the general description. We have the statement of vision, mission, goals, and objectives. We have a production plan. You need to show us a plan of how you are going to produce, and then you need to market them. Therefore, we need the marketing plan, and then we need to know how organized your employees are, and that's an organizational plan, or we call it a management or administrative plan. And then we need also to know about action plan. it's important to know the action plan. Action plan is just a timetable for implementing the business activities. But all those are components that form a business plan. If we are very critical, last year, I think item 1, part B, the enable of last year, when you look at that paper, they wanted the marketing plan. And the marketing plan was part of the components of a business plan. So every time you come across such, just know that they are following this kind of arrangement, these elements of construct. But after preparing a business plan, you now need to take your business to formalize it. That's why I must have mentioned about formalization of a business. You must have studied the steps followed when you are formalizing a business. There are around 5-6 steps will follow when you are formalizing a business, searching the business name, reserving the name, etc., acquiring TIN number, certificate of incorporation, etc. Those steps are the ones we follow when you are formalizing a business. Now you are registering it, having gotten all the resources required. But the resources for starting a business, it now takes us to the, this takes us to the topic of production. Under production, I'm picking out a part called factors of production. We all know that the factors of production, these are things that enable production to take place. And without them, production can never be a success. The factors of production, we have the entrepreneur himself. Of course, is the one who organizes all these others.
Richard,
and the other
a minute. You can continue. I've stopped sharing for just a minute, but you can continue.
Okay, no problem. So these factors of production is capital. When you leave capital, we have labor. You need the people to work in your enterprise. Now that you have gotten the labor, of course, when you talk of capital, capital can either be money and a combination of other resources, the buildings, land, all those fixed assets, machinery, all that is capital. That's why we have a saying that all capital, all money is capital, but not all capital is money, because capital is a combination of money and other tangible resources which are used in the production of other goods like machinery. Machinery are capital. Why? They help us in the production of other goods. If you have a blender, which is a machine for making juice, then it's capital. Why? It helps you in the production of another final good called juice, in this case. So all capital, not all capital is money, but all money is capital. So the major factors of production, we have talked of the entrepreneur, the capital, the labor. The business is not going to be established in space. You need land. Therefore, the fourth factor is land. All these activities are going to take place on planet Earth. And when we talk of land, land can be the water, this Earth's surface, the forest, all that is mountains, all that is land. Of course, they also mentioned of the fifth factor. By that fifth factor of time organization, perhaps we can link it back to an entrepreneur. Of recent, they say that we also have the time or organization that do all those things. You need time. However, they are not. It's not so much recognized. We can go with the major 4 factors of production. So factors of production, I have extracted only that part from production, and then brought it under element 1, question 1, or rather item 1. Then the remaining parts of production, of course, those ones will come in item 2. We shall see why production is in item 2. Now, you have prepared a business plan. You have, of course, with all its things, anything about business planning, it's all in item 1. You have formalized it. Formalizing is under legal forms of business ownership. That's when we start about companies, formalizing private or public limited companies, etc. Now that you have formalized, the next thing will be to engage in production. But before you engage in production, where are you going to sell your things? It's important. that you show in your plan the possible places where you're going, the target market, the region is where you're going to sell your things. We are now talking of big businesses. Let us not put the focus on small enterprises. You need to operate a business that maybe you have invested millions and millions of money. You expect to get millions in return, and therefore the market in Uganda may not be enough for you. Perhaps even what you are producing may not be for the consumption of Ugandans. You are targeting a market somewhere. We have seen very many businesses in Uganda here that operate, but when they do their sales outside Uganda, that takes us to a very good topic of senior 4-term 1 we call international trade. So you must have studied about international trade. That's why I told you right from the beginning that the arrangement of the topics from senior 1 up to senior 4 do not necessarily mean that even items are arranged that way, not at all. Those who have been with us right from the beginning up to where we are now can now understand why international trade comes in item 1. Because you need to tell us where are you going to sell your things before you start production. It's weird for you to start production, you have the stock, and now you look for market. First identify where the market is, and then you cut out the production. So which region? So it's important we understand international trade. We take advantage of regional associations, the East African Community, the SADC, the ECOWAS in West Africa, the AGOA, that's African growth opportunities for, I think growth opportunities. That's what was called AGOA. I think USA gave a chance to Africa to sell their things in the US market. That association is called AGOA. Then the associations I'm talking of is simply what we call the regional cooperation. Some of them are regional corporations. For example, the East African Community, where it has around, I think we now have almost 7 member states. The original Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, then we add on Rwanda, Burundi, South Sudan. We recently had the Congo join us, and I think Somalia, if I'm not mistaken. So that's market. You have now identified where you are going to sell your things. So we have seen the arrangement of the topics and parts. It does not mean that the entire topic can come in an item, not at all. They can pick out some parts like we shall see. Some parts within some topics are both in item 1 and other parts are in item 2. Take an example. We are going to see the topic of marketing in an enterprise or in small enterprises. The topic of marketing is supposed to be an item 2, but we shall realize that some parts of marketing are set in item 2 and some parts are taken to item 3. And we shall know why it is done that way as we proceed. So hope you have all understood some of the different topics which are under item 1. When you are carrying out the revision, when you are reading, please take note that whatever I've been hinting on, you are now struggling for item 1. Don't be there, read the same topics. So you need to balance your revision. Pick a topic from item 1, read, pick from item 2, read, pick from item 3, read, and 4 also read like that. Don't just concentrate on the same thing. You end up having capacity to answer item 1 when you are unable to answer item 2, which is unfortunate. So dear candidate, please balance in the way you revise now that you have known why different topics lie where they are. That was the reason as why they placed them under construct 1 and they called it business startup process. And if you have been critically listening and following, you realize that they are all important. All of them are important in the formation of a business. When you're just starting, you need all this information I've mentioned. So that will take us to item 2. Now that you have seen the item 1, what is contained in item 2? Mr. Kaziba, you scroll down a bit. Yes, managing a business. Now, you have gone through all the things we have seen in item 1, your business has started. They have registered you, have formalized, everything is now okay. The business has started. But a report which was carried out, I think, in 2017, indicated that out of the 100 businesses that are started in Africa here, and of course Uganda in particular, only 23% celebrate the first anniversary, meaning the 77 fail. The 77 businesses fail, only 23% celebrate the first anniversary, meaning finish a year. Why do you think these others cannot even make 365 days that form a year? That's why in item 2, we now look at managing a business. How can we make it sustainable and it stays for quite a longer period of time, year in, year out? So we realize that for you to manage a business very well, you need to have very good qualities. And that takes us from the day 1 lesson you had in your senior 1, qualities of an entrepreneur. So features, qualities of an entrepreneur now comes in. For you to manage your business very well, now that you have started it, you need to be hardworking. You need to be goal-oriented. You need to be committed to your work. You need to be persistent. You need to be an information seeker. You should be an opportunity seeker, etc., etc. All those qualities must be on you in order to manage the business and make it a success. Now, putting that aside, you need to be creative and innovative. And you realize that creativity and innovation is term 1 work in senior 1. The time you joined senior 1, you must have studied creativity and innovation. But we now see that creativity is under item 2. That for your business to do well, try to do things differently. That's why today you see businesses like Coca-Cola, like the Pepsi Cola. They are not comfortable with where they are. You hear the innovation is every day and now. Today they have this brand of soda. Today you hear Minute Maid. Tomorrow you hear another brand. Then you hear also the Crown Bottlers Limited, which is the Pepsi company, introducing Mirinda Fruity, Mirinda Pineapple, Mirinda what. They're just playing with our psychology, but they are trying to be innovative so that they sustain the business to stay in the market for a long period of time. If you do the same thing repeatedly, then you are likely to be driven out of the industry. We have seen many businesses collapse here because they failed to handle, to come up with these strategies of managing themselves. A case in point, we saw in 2019, ShopRite leaving Uganda. We saw AfriCell going back to, I don't know, Greece. I think it was a Lebanon company. They had to go back. The whole issue was on this item 2, managing a business. And that's why we need to be creative. Creativity is all about using original ideas to produce new products. When I make something in a creative way, it means I've produced something that has not existed before. But when I make something that has existed before in a unique way, just I make some changes in it, but it's already there, then I would say I am innovative. I am just improving on what is already there. The original person who made the item I'm trying to improve was creative. Me who is just improving to make some changes, I am innovative. So all businesses ought to be creative. They ought to be innovative if they are to be successful. Of course, all businesses aim at being successful. And how do you attain success? Success is attained when you are able to declare that you have made enough profits in a business. Now that I've mentioned about success, you remember in the topic of businesses, businesses in Uganda, business in Uganda, you must have talked about success of business. When you talk of success, success is when one achieves his or her goals. When a business achieves its goals, then we shall say it's successful. And there are factors that lead to success. There are factors that lead to success. The case in point, you need proper record keeping, you need to maybe employ the skilled labor, you need to provide quality products. All those things can lead you to success. If you fail to do them, then they will lead you to business failure. You fail to practice things that will take you to success, then you are leading yourself to failure. That's why we have success here, and then we have business failure under this particular area. Then we registered our business very well. We have started operations. We need now to push to production. We need to produce a commodity. Yes, you have registered. Start the production then. You have all the qualities that will lead you to success. You are trying to manage yourself to a path to success. Now, under production, you will need to look at specialization, division of labor, diversification, all that. When you talk of specialization, as the word sounds, specialization is simply when a person or a business, could be even an area, could be a country, concentrates in the production of a commodity or a service they can do best, and then they leave the rest to others. Like a case in point, we say Uganda concentrates in the production of agricultural products because that's where we can do best. And then we left Japan to concentrate in the production of electronics because that's where they can do best. And then Japan needs food. Uganda also needs electronics. What do? We exchange through international trade. That's why in item 1, we identified the market where we shall sell. That's international trade. But that takes us to managing a business under specialization. You concentrate where you can do best and leave the rest to others. You divide the labor in an enterprise. Let those who have a given skill concentrate in that area. Another area, you employ another group of people who can do it best. Division of labor is simply the assigning of tasks to different individuals. When you assign tasks to different individuals, we shall conclude that you are carrying out division of labor. And then we have what they call diversification in production. Don't concentrate on one thing. Sometimes one thing may not work out. You may be there tying yourself in the production of only, you are dealing in a bakery, you're only producing bread. Bread only may not help you. Different companies may come on board when they're also producing bread. What do? Introduce other products, diversify, start producing cakes, start producing maybe some soft drinks like that, so that you get income from different avenues. And therefore, you need to understand the advantages of diversification. You need to understand the advantages of specialization, the disadvantages, etc., etc. So that's all about specialization. We are still under production. Under that very production, to produce, we need raw materials. And therefore, you need to know how they select raw materials. And raw materials, of course, we choose quality raw materials. How do you select quality raw materials for production? It's important that you know that, because quality raw materials will produce you quality products, and quality products will attract customers. And if you attract customers, you will make more sales and expand the business, and the business will be there for quite a longer period of time when it's not having financial shocks. So from there, we also proceed having known the selection. We need the machines to produce. Some businesses, especially manufacturing businesses, they use some machinery, they use some equipment, they use some tools. Therefore, there are factors we should look at. What factors do you consider when you are choosing the machinery? It's important that you understand the factors considered when you are choosing machinery. Because when you go into the market, the seller will not tell you that this one is good, this one is bad. You cannot rely on their information. But it's upon you to make research and come out with factors you are going to consider. A case in point, maybe you are going to consider the price of the machine. You are going to look at the guarantee given by the supplier. You're going to look at the distance between the business and the supplier so that you don't buy from very far. The quality, the power the quantity of power machines can consume, etc., etc. Now that you have known the selection of machinery, you have known the selection of quality raw materials, you have known what specialization is all about, meaning the final product is standing. But production is incomplete unless the final consumer has access to your product. This means the topic of marketing comes in next. The topic of marketing was covered in second term, first term of senior, I think. Second term of senior 2, you must have looked at marketing. And therefore, under marketing, you realize that we need to know introduction to marketing. We need to know the distribution channels. How are you going to move your things from the factory to where customers are found? Take an example. Your business may be located in a busy place. Of course, remember in item 1, we talked about location of a business. So you must have you might have put a business somewhere because of some factors, some push factors, some pull factors. You considered all that. But when your customers are somewhere else, now how do we distribute? You are operating from Kampala in Namamve, an industrialized area, but your customers are found in Gulu. Your customers are in Kabale, they are in Rukungiri. How best can you reach them? And then we need the channels of distribution. Either we can choose the direct distribution channel, depending on the nature of a scenario. You can use we call it a wholesale distribution channel, where the wholesaler buys from the producer, then sells to retailer, then the retailer sells to consumer. You can go with the retail distribution channel, where the retailer buys directly from the producer and sells to consumer. Or you can go through agent distribution channel. They find that the producer or manufacturer has the agents who distribute the final product. Like the way you see with the soft drinks, they have depots in up country. Those are agents whom you can buy from. Now that you have known the channel of distribution, you are not the only one who is producing that product. Remember, we are looking at managing a business. You are not the only one producing that product. Therefore, we need to advertise ourselves. We need to market ourselves. We need to attract people. That's why it takes us to advertisement and sales promotion. So that is under element 2. There are different ways of attracting sales in a business. If you are very critical, you realize that last year, item 2 was asking about designing. I think they wanted you to design an advert and then come up with ways of promoting sales in a business. How can we promote sales in a business? That's about managing a business now. Giving free samples, reducing the prices, providing quality products, carrying out personal selling, ensuring effective communication. All those ones would lead you to training. You can even train your workers to produce quality product, etc., to overcome competition and increase the sales. Now, from that part, it now takes us to element 3. We have now known how to manage a business so that we can be there for quite a long period of time. But then there are some external factors. There are things from outside. In SWOT analysis, there's what we call SWOT analysis when you are carrying out market research. One of the methods is SWOT analysis. And we talk of the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, the threats. Now, in this case, I'm looking at either the opportunities or the threats, because those are external. they come from out. You have no influence on them. What are some of those things that are external, that come from outside your business and can have an impact on either your success or failure? So in some of the services that support us, that takes us to money and banking. In a business, we need money. Whenever we talk of business, all of us, what comes in mind is money. Therefore, the topic of money and banking comes under business support. Money is there to support your business. Banks are there to support you, give you loans, keep your money safely. Very many things that are done by the bank that money also plays a role. So the money and financial institution is, whereas it was a topic of senior 2 third term, it's set under element 3 because money and banking is a support service. That's where we find the types of bank accounts. I know you must have looked at savings account, current account, fixed deposit account, joint accounts. All those are types of accounts. You must have looked at microfinance institutions, where you talked of the circles. You must have looked at electronic banking. We have now gone technology. How best can we move money without having to move physically? Use of mobile money, agent banking, internet banking, use of debit cards, use of credit cards. All that is electronic banking, use of technology to deal with issues of finance. Now that we have seen that money and banking, all that electronic banking falls under item 3, we kindly, the one who is writing in our screen should stop, because you are now interfering with others. So we will go to risks. Businesses face risks. Risks is a topic in senior 1, I think, term 1. That's when we started the risks, but it's set under item 3. Why? Businesses, you need, when you are going to start a business, it's important you study these risks and come up with risk mitigation measures. You have no influence or you have no control over risks. Risks are bound to happen, but you just come up with some management strategies to avoid them. Some risks you have no control, like a natural hazard, flooding. You can't control a flood, but in case flood occurs, what do you do? That's a risk mitigation measure. So risks in business, of course, a risk is anything that has the possibility of reducing the profitability of a business. We categorize it as a risk. So business risk is anything that has a possibility of affecting the profitability of the business. But a risk in definition is just a possibility of anything bad happening is a risk. Now that these risks are there, as an entrepreneur, you should plan in advance. You have no control over them, but you can plan in advance to manage them. That's why majority transfer those risks to another third party. We call it risk transfer. You say, for me, in case fire guts this building, God forbid, I have my retail shop in, how will I be able to survive? You say, no, let me go to insurance companies. So you have carried out risk transfer that should anything occur, insurance companies will stand in and take care, they compensate you. From risks in business, we now go to insurance. Insurance is a topic, we all know that it's a topic in senior 4, second term. Insurance is set under, anything about insurance is set under item 3. Last year, they asked about insurance policies, examples of insurance. Of course, insurance is simply is an aid to trade, because it's an auxiliary. It helps trade to take place. We all know that trade is the buying and selling of goods and services, but there are these support services which help trade to take place, like money and banking, the insurance itself. So insurance is simply an aid to trade. where people contribute money towards a common pool for compensation should a risk take place. They contribute money towards a common pool for compensation should a risk. Or of course, contributing money, you must contribute against a certain risk. And then you expect compensation should that risk take place. Last year, they were asking about insurance policies. And candidates were required to mention the policy and even put there the word policy. Take an example. If you are to say fire, you are supposed to say fire policy, not just saying fire. Fire has no meaning. If you are to say loss of goods in transit, doesn't make sense. Let it be loss of goods in transit policy. Maybe theft and burglary policy, workman's compensation policy, fidelity guarantee policy, etc., etc. You should always add that in case you come across such a question. So the entire insurance lies under business support. Insurance supports businesses in case dangers do happen to them. Then from insurance, it's important that we embrace technology. Today, people are carrying out trade without having to move to their destinations where they're supposed to get them. You're in Uganda, in the main capital, Kampala, but you are able to order for things in China. You have even never gone to China. You sit there with your smartphone, with your laptop, as long as you have internet connectivity, you have a functioning bank account, you place an order for the goods, you complete all the legal formalities of international trade, and then things will reach you through the Mombasa. Of course, being a landlocked country, they can come through the Mombasa line, they can pass through the Tanzania Mutukula borderline, through the Dodoma, etc. So all that, it brings us to technology and business. You studied technology in second term of senior one, technology in business. Today we are seeing different companies which now deliver you food even. You sit in one place, call them, and they deliver you. Example is Jumia. We are talking of course, Jumia does not only deliver, we're talking of Glovo. Jumia delivers different items online. Sit in one place, pay your money, they will reach you. All that is technology in business. Now, having known all that, the government is on your door. All these businesses you are doing, all the business you are operating, must be in a certain country. And for a country to qualify to be called a country, there must be a government in place. Government has nowhere to get the money apart from relying on your businesses and maybe getting loans, but we shall not go into loan funding. We are now focusing on businesses because the more businesses people operate, the more the government is able to tax. It widens the tax base, and the more revenue they will raise. And this government raises more money, then it will provide us with services, education, good education, health care, good infrastructure. Therefore, businesses ought to pay taxes. That's why it now takes us to topics of taxation. Anything related to taxation is found under item 3. We see that government revenue, introduction to government revenue, which was your last topic of senior 1, taxation, which was your last topic in senior 2, tax administration in Uganda, which was your last topic in senior 3, and then basic tax computation and tax compliance, which was your topic in senior 4. You must have ended with these things: computing the value-added tax, knowing those different sources of income, employment income, individual income, property income, how to calculate for individual pay, that table, you must have gone through it. Last year, they asked about value-added tax, and then technology and business, and then they also asked about insurance policies. That's what formed item 3. Now, you need to observe government laws as well. The government is ever there fighting for the rights of the consumers. That's why we have what they call consumer protection. Now, whereas consumer protection is found in the topic of marketing, And we have seen that most of the subtopics in marketing are under item 2, how to manage a business. This part was extracted out, consumer protection, and was brought under item 3. Why? Consumers need to be protected. Consumer protection is just a policy measure taken by government to protect its people against being exploited by the businessmen and women. Just policy measures taken by the government to protect its people against being exploited by the businessmen and women. How do these business people exploit the consumers that now government steps in to protect them? One, some of them give wrong weights and measures. You go buy a kilogram of rice, and their weighing scale gives you 3/4 only 3/4. So what do you do with that? As a consumer, you have no authority. It's only government that can help you do that. That's why you hear of Uganda National Bureau of Standards. Uganda National Bureau of Standards, the one you call UNBS, is always checking the quality, but also checking the weighing scales to see that every weighing scale, every retailer with the weighing scale, it must be having its stamp to show that it gives the correct weights and measures. Of course, they protect consumers from eating expired or substandard products, unhygienic goods, etc. So consumer protection was picked from marketing and then brought to item 3. Once you do all that, the business will be successful. That's why we have now success in business. If you have done all the things I've talked about, right from item 1 up to where I am now, the business will be successful. So parts of success, questions of success can now come in here. But also there's this part of business ethics. You need to practice good business behaviors towards others. Particularly these others we talk of could be the consumers. You practice good business behavior towards the employees, the community, the government. Government needs you to be good in terms of paying taxes, producing quality products, etc., etc. So that's why there is a proposal. Of course, me, I don't want to confirm it here, but as a candidate, just be ready and prepare to read the instructions of how the questions will be. However, we have all seen that under item 3, it contains many topics from managed banking, insurance, all things about taxation, all things about technology and business, success, business ethics, all that. So the topics are a bit wider. So what they did was to go to section B, section to take item 3, according to the possible amendments. That item 3 was pushed to section B and produced 2 questions. So item 3 was subdivided into item 3 and 4, and they called that one part 1. So section B has part 1 containing item 3 and item 4. Item 3 and 4 talks about they will set from these very topics: insurance, managed banking, the way you have seen them. And to you, a candidate, it even gives you more advantage, because now at least you are given a choice to pick one of the questions from these topics I've mentioned under item 3. And then our calculation is, which now talk about the last element of construct, is applying bookkeeping skills. Mr. Kaziva, you can scroll a bit. I want to see on that downer part. Yes. So applying bookkeeping skills. You are when you look at the screen there, you are able to see the source documents, the books of original entry, the ledger, the trade balance and correction of errors, the statement of comprehensive income. That one forms part 2. So it's in section B, but it's now going to be part 2. And part 2 will have question 5 or item 5 and then item 6. So literally, these items are moving from 5 to 6 items, according to what I'm using the word the expected. We cannot confirm to that effect, but we are saying the expected. So if you reach there and you don't see these changes, it's okay. If you see them, then don't be shocked. You have heard from here. So part 2, which talks about the applying of bookkeeping skills, there will always be 2 questions and you choose one. Usually, one question should come from these books of original entry and then source documents. And then another question comes from this part of trial balance, starting from the line of trial balance, statement of comprehensive income, which involves the trading profit and loss account, another name to mean the same, and then statement of financial position. When you talk of financial position, we mean a balance sheet. They are not going to set you questions which are or items which are just direct for you to interpret. For example, they are likely, these questions, they use definitions instead to ask you something. Instead of telling you to prepare a balance sheet, they will tell you to help someone prepare the financial position of a business. And when you are defining a business, a balance sheet, we always talk of a balance sheet as being a financial statement that shows the financial position of a business as at a given date. So they are using a definition to ask you the real item. So they are not so direct. The same will apply on comprehensive income. They will ask you for the profitability of the business. And of course, profitability of the business, you can't determine profitability unless you have prepared the entire document. Trial balance, they won't say trial balance. They will talk of things like arithmetic accuracy. Because when we talk of a trial balance, usually we say this is a statement that shows the arithmetic accuracy of the ledgers. Remember, we extract information from ledgers that is transferred to trial balance. That's why trial balance has the debit column and credit column to prove whether the ledgers were correctly balanced. Those balance brought down, if it appears in the ledger on debit side, in the trial balance, bring on debit side. If the balance brought down from the ledger is on credit side, please bring on credit side of the trial balance to check whether these 2 totals on either sides are balancing. And they call that one arithmetic accuracy. So they are likely to use those definitions when they are asking. No question is going to be just there directly. Now, what should be done? As a learner, don't think that items or the scenarios will contain answers. Some of you, when you are reading the scenarios, you fix your brain to the scenarios. Scenarios are just there to guide you. First and foremost, you should be able to read the scenario and identify the topics the scenario is focusing on. The first step to excel in this whole issue, identify the topic where the scenario is coming from. Once you are able to know the topics where the scenario is coming from, you will be able to do it perfectly. Answers, it's in rare circumstance. Some scenarios, yes, I can't rule out completely. You can find a scenario that has 1 answer, 2 answers, but those are not the only ones. If you are lucky that your scenario has a response, well and good. If there's no response, please, and of course, most of them have no response. It makes no sense for someone to set a paper with responses in the scenario. They want you to respond. Therefore, expect that you'll use your knowledge and be able to interpret and understand these things. Then equally, important information is that these items, item 1, item 2, item 3, in that order, they usually have parts. For example, you find item 1 has part A and part B. Now, from the topics we have seen, the elements of construct, they cannot ask from the same topic on part A, item 1, part A, and then item 1, part B, they still ask on the same topic. Take an example. You cannot ask about importance of a business plan on item 1, part A, and then part B, you ask for preparation of a marketing plan. That's one topic, business planning. It is not like that. Every part brings a different topic from the same element of construct. Take an example. Last year, they said about partnership deed. And partnership deed, of course, is part A. They wanted you to prepare a document that can help to solve conflicts in a business. Either it was a partnership deed, or if you're operating a joint stock company or private limited company, then it was supposed to be an article of association, because articles of association is a constitution of the business. It lays down the internal rules that will govern the operations of the business. So, but to many candidates, of course, the best document was partnership deed. That's most of you could present partnership deed. Partnership deed comes from a topic of legal form of business ownership. Then part B, they wanted you to help that person to market it, how to come up with a plan that will help to market. I don't know whether it was a he or a she, but to help him, if in the case as a man, to help him come up with a plan to market his products. Now, that plan was a marketing plan. It's a marketing plan that can help one market his or her products. So marketing plan is from the topic of business planning. That was part B. Yet part A was asking about partnership deed, which is a topic of legal form of business ownership. But they are all topics which are found under element 1, which is business startup process. So from today onwards, know that an item can never have part A, part B, Roman 1 or Roman, okay, part A, part B, all of them asking about the same topic. Of course, with Roman numerals, it's possible. Like item 2 had the Roman B, for example, B Roman 1 was asking about preparation of an advert. You design an advert. You could either make a signpost or a newspaper advert, whichever is easier for you, or you make a flyer, brochure, whatever makes you feel comfortable with. Then Roman 2 part B Roman 2 was asking about ways of promoting sales. We see that an advert is from advertisement, and then sales is from sales promotion, which is the topic of marketing. Yes, those two came from the same thing, because they even said part B, Roman 1, Roman 2. So the whole thing was part B. But part A, I don't remember what part A was all about, but I think if I check the paper, or if you also have access to a paper, you'll find that it was asking about a different topic. You have papers there, you'll confirm. It must have been a different topic. Maybe machinery, which is from production. And then item 3 was asking about technology. You could read the scenario, and it's not a must that everything must be in your book, that a teacher must have coordinated it and therefore facilitated you to have all that content in the book. Some things need you to use your logic to reason them out. As a learner who has been in class for the last 4 years, I want us to have shared and seen, because it was important for us to understand these elements of construct, because they form a basis for better preparation in the forthcoming exam. I have given this sample discussion questions. I just picked from some mock bodies. Some of you have done them, but we want us to share and see how points should be presented and how well they can be explained. At this particular moment, I want to welcome those who can take on and discuss part A. You first, okay. One can cut up the hand and read us the scenario. That's item 1. And then another school or another individual comes on board to discuss as part A. Then we see where we can polish you. Because the more you come out to try to present, the better you will be in position to be corrected, or we confirm that that's the right thing to do. So don't fear to come out to really present. So at this time, any volunteer to read through item 1 by show of hand? Okay, I am seeing Bethel Secondary School. Bethel, unmute your, okay, then, okay. Comprehensive SS Bukedea, you will answer us item one, part A, and then St. Valley Kudembe SS Mitala Maria, you will answer us part B. Then others, you'll also supplement as we proceed. We have very many items down there that we're going to share, but you're allowed still to carry up the hand and supplement where necessary. Thank you. So I'm starting with the Bethel SS. Just unmute your microphone. Okay. Please go ahead. Okay. So let me select another who is let me select Mwesiga Caleb. Can you read for us? And then comprehensive will handle item 1, like I said, and St. Valley Kudembe will handle part B. Mwesigwa, unmute yourself. Let me tap on you and give you powers to unmute. Okay. Okay, Mr. Kaziba, you are the host. You help me make this Bethel SS to unmute themselves. Okay, Bethel, you can now go ahead. Thank you, sir. You can now go ahead.
Opio is Opio is planning to start
Please
up.
go ahead. Let one individual read. Yes.
Opio is planning to start up a bakery project in his hometown. He is at the level of conducting a market survey but not sure of the nature of the information required to collect the data and effectively produce the products. Task: as an entrepreneurship student, assist Opondo to A. Design a tool to use when collecting the required data. B. Prepare a document analyzing the requirements for producing the products.
Okay. Thank you. Are you answering part A?
Yes.
Okay. How do we handle part A then? Then let me first allocate the assignment. This means that comprehensive SS Bukedea you will also handle, and then Mitala Maria SS. Then we shall also have the Bunyinza Alliance College, and then Sacred Heart. For you will handle item 2, or you supplement. Then Rena College Mayuge you will handle. Still, you also handle item 2. Okay, in that order. All of you who are carrying up the hands, we are going to share. I'm going to give a chance to every school. Please go ahead.
Answer for A part. The scenario is requiring us to get, like it's talking about the market survey and the tools that we can use when collecting the required data. You can use questionnaire method.
Okay, good.
Well,
Proceed.
in the questionnaires, we're going to write out questions that we're going to ask the people in the community where we are going to do the market survey. Then the second thing, we can use sampling method. The next one, we can use interviewing, also recording. That
Okay,
is
okay. Thank you so much, Bethel SS. I want to correct here a bit. You have said they said design a tool to use when collecting the required data. you perfectly said we need to use a questionnaire. Now, I want you to use that one tool, and then come up with the questions that will help you to collect the data. There are some questions we base on when you are preparing a questionnaire. So don't focus on these other methods. Already you have said you are going with a questionnaire. Don't go into sampling, because they didn't want methods. They wanted you to select one tool. In this case, you have chosen a questionnaire. Then use that one to collect the information. So can you go ahead, or we get another school to give you the guidance? So you'll come back and then present afresh.
Go ahead.
Okay, you go ahead.
Yes.
Please do.
The questionnaire. One question.
How is the questionnaire prepared?
Business.
The questionnaire is found under questionnaire. You must have studied about market research, and then you prepare the questionnaire. Or even in the topic of marketing, you must have looked at a questionnaire, market survey, or research report, and that part. What are the contents of a questionnaire? What is contained in a questionnaire tool?
In a questionnaire too, the content in a questionnaire too is we are going to ask questions, then space for answering the questions before we submit it to the community that we are going to that we are going to survey then.
Okay. So, and thank you. This question is you based on 5 P's. We call them the 5 P's, the elements of a marketing price. Have you ever come across the elements of marketing price? Rather marketing mix, where you talked about the price, the product, promotion, place, position. Did you?
Yes.
So when you are preparing a questionnaire, first and foremost, come up with your own business name and address. You see these scenarios, the task is saying, as a student of entrepreneurship, an entrepreneurship student, assist Opondo, meaning Opondo does not know. Opondo does not know how to prepare a customer survey tool. Now it's upon you as a student of entrepreneurship to assist him. Meaning, you will help when you're assisting someone, you make it complete because the other person does not know. Now, we want to come up with a good one. One, you will start by giving us a business name and address. So the business is all about Zip Bakery. Who can generate us a name? We have the word bakery.
You first start with the name of the business, the address, then location.
You see?
You first start with the name of the business,
Okay.
the
One of it
address.
mentioned the name. Let us go with Opondo. Let it be Opondo Bakery, PO Box. We just pick any business name as long as it has the word bakery, because that's the line of business we are dealing in. Now I'm just using his own name. Opondo Bakery, PO Box, maybe 123 Gulu. Then I put the telephone number. Then I come down there and say questionnaire. Because I'm now designing a real tool, I say questionnaire. Then I come and write a statement. I say the purpose of this questionnaire is to collect views from customers about the customers. Then you can put a full step and say, kindly help us and answer these questions. Because you are taking that questionnaire to people outside to help you answer the questions. You are making research. Now, after you have written that opening statement, of course, you can write the age, the gender, that introductory part, age, gender, name, etc. But if you don't want to get the name of the customer, because some people fear to write their names when you are collecting views, so you can go directly to the 5 P's. We are saying when you are making research, you base on price, on product, on promotion, on position, and place. Some other P's we have people, etc. Now, question 1. I am going to use what they call open-ended questions. In open-ended questions, you just ask a question and put a dash. But closed-ended questions, you ask a question and put answers for one to choose. Now, my question 1, I'm saying, how do you find the price of our products? Meaning I'm asking about price. You put a question mark, put a dash, a customer will answer that. If you want to give them answers, you can even say A, high, B, low, C, I don't know. So that you give choice to all customers to choose what they want. Now that I've asked about price, that's one score. We come to the second one. How do you find our product? Because we want to collect views, how do you find our product? Now we are asking about the P of product. You put a dash. You go to the third question. Where do you usually buy our products? Now we are focusing on place where the customer finds the product. We go to promotion, or you can even go to position. How do you find our product? Now, if you say, how do you find our product in relation to those of the competitors? We are looking at the position. We want to see where our business is standing. And then after you have asked all those questions, you come down there and say, thank you for sparing your time to answer these questions. And then you put it in a frame. You would have designed what you call a questionnaire, and now you can give it to Opondo to go and use, because Opondo was not knowing you. They have hired you as a student of entrepreneurship. You are now having the skill. You must assist the person to do that work. So you can't leave it incomplete. That document can be used by Opondo to now officially carry out research. I want to thank you, Bethel SS. Unless if you have a question, I want to also get another school, could be supplementing on the same. So kindly let me get, let me pick Rena College. Rena College, unmute your, unmute. Mr. Kaziva, give chance to Rena College to unmute themselves.
Please, sir. Why? Nothing is new. We are having a question.
Okay, I now want to get another school also to try out. You're going to come back. I'm going to invite you back. Let me get on. Mr. Kaziva, help me unmute Rena College or Nyara SS. Unmute one. Okay. I'm waiting for Mr. Kaziva to unmute you because he has the host powers. I cannot allow you to. I'm not a co-host. I think Mr. Kaziva is a bit off, but as he's coming back, we can continue discussing. Since Bethel, you are already on, as Mr. Kaziva comes back so that he gives powers to another school to also do the same, we can proceed to part B. What's part B all about? Yes, because part B is saying prepare a document analyzing requirements for producing the product. Which document helps us to analyze the requirements for producing a product? Bethel, you are still on as we await to give powers to other people. Mr. Kaziva is a bit off, but as soon as he logs in, he's going to share to give another school a right to unmute themselves and then submit. So as he joins in, maybe let me be going through. Part B, I wanted a document, or Opondo wanted you as a student to help and prepare a document for analyzing the requirements for producing the product. That's purely a production plan. They wanted you to prepare what they call a production plan. And in part A, for example, we use the upon the bakery. Upon the bakery, maybe PO Box 123, Bulu, and then we put the telephone. Now we are going to maintain the same business name and address on part B. This time round, we are calling it a production plan or production plan. Then you need to understand the contents of a production plan. What are the things that are needed when you're preparing a production plan? We look at the products offered. So you tell us which products are you going to offer. The business offers products like bread, because the bakery has bread, cakes, so offers products like bread. We use that present simple tense because a business plan is a working document. We use it when you are beginning the business, but we constantly continue using the business plan even when the business is 10 years old and etc. So we also need to look at the raw material requirements. Where do you get the raw materials? So which kind of raw materials do you use? The business uses raw materials like wheat flour, bought maybe from Maganjo millers at a cost of shillings, because in the production plan, we must cost it, maybe at a cost of shillings, 60,000 per carton. That's raw material requirement, a big tick. Then we come to transport requirements. In production, you need to transport things, either raw materials into the business or finished products to centers where consumers will find you. So you say the transport requirements, you can say the business owns a truck which uses fuel of shillings 100,000 per week to deliver the raw materials into the business. That one is called raw material requirements. You make it as if the business is already existing, even if you're just going to start it, but you make it look like the business is already existing. Mr. Kaziva, if you are on, you help me give chance to another school. Yes, now you are back. I want you to help me and okay, I want comprehensive essays. Let them also come and take on part B and mute them. Yes, comprehensive essays, Bukedia. Thank you. Now come on, part B.
Okay, for the production plan,
yes,
you will first start by cleaning the apparatus you are supposed to use when you are producing a product.
Yes.
After cleaning process,
Go ahead, please. Comprehensive. Please go ahead. We are hearing you. And every
after
submission matters. We just, yes, go ahead.
After cleaning process, you go to the next step that says that you now mixed, assuming it is like a baking flour and maybe.
Now, my friend, don't assume, because the question was saying it's about a bakery. So let us talk about bakery things. It's about a bakery. Maybe for purposes of guidance, when they tell you to prepare a production plan, you must understand the contents for production plan. You must have studied this under business planning. Under business planning, one of the components of the business plan is a production plan. Or you must have looked at a production plan under the topic of production, because it's also having production plan part. And what are the factors considered when you are preparing a production plan? When you're going to produce, we look at the raw materials. Which raw materials are you going to use? So we look at the raw material requirements. We look at the product to be produced. Which product are you going to produce? We look at the transport requirements. How are you going to transport your final products or the raw materials? We look at the utilities to be used. Are you going to use electricity, water, and how much are they going to cost you? etc. All those are requirements. Maybe to give you a hint, always balance when you are writing these points. Don't give 10 points, 15, or level in a new curriculum. It's not necessary. It's not necessary. Someone may say, but they don't indicate marks. Now, how do we know? I don't want, I would wish to advise you that maximum 7, they are enough. Unless if you have time, that you have done all these other items, you have finished. Now you're just there, you say, let me use these last 5 minutes or 30 minutes to add on more points. Otherwise, 7 points, 6 are enough. 6, 7, as long as you are sure of what you are writing. 5, 6, 7, but mostly I encourage you to use 6. In the previous marking, there was no question that exceeded 6 points. They would say any 6 plus. So whether you have 7, 9, 10, me who had 6 and you had 10, we would all score. The same mark. However, I'm not discouraging you from writing the 7 points or 8, 9. Do write them if you have gotten time that you are done with these other items. But don't waste time on writing very many points on only one item. Yes, you end up getting all, but then you have done yourself a disservice on these others. So my friend, when you're talking on preparation of a production plan, those are the things you look at the products you are going to offer. You look at the raw materials to use. You tell us the manufacturing process. How do you manufacture bread, for example? We get the wheat, maybe we mix it, maybe we get the dough, we slice it, and then we produce the final. So the products offered, the manufacturing process, the raw materials used, the utilities used, the transport requirements, the waste disposal. Where are you going to put your wastes after? We look at the quality control. How are you going to ensure that you produce quality products? So when you are preparing, you can mention that point and then explain it, how he should do it, because it's you guiding. The other opponent does not know. It's your role to guide the opponent in the preparation of a production plan. Don't never outline points. I encourage you, don't outline points, because if you are helped, if you are lucky that you woke up on the right side of your bed, you'll get 1 score. Otherwise, you'll get 0. They don't score outlined points, because that indicates rote learning. All the curriculum is the one which encourages that knowledge. For us here, we are looking at your competence. Therefore, make sure you state your point and explain it. Put some explanation. It's not that every point you should put a full stop and a continuation, Some points are explained with 1 sentence. Someone can, for example, who is all promoting sales, I can say, through advertising, which can be done on radio and television. I have already explained. The point was advertisement and the explanation was through radio and television. So that's how a production plan is prepared, and from today onwards, know that those are the contents. If they ask you for a production plan, don't mention very many contents. If you are able to give some 5, some 4, 5, they're enough for you to move on and go to another point. 6, if you have much. Thank you. Now allow me also give chance to another school.
Thank you, sir.
I am okay. Camira Christian High School. Okay, Camira, go ahead and then you handle item. Mr. Kazuga, help me scroll down a bit. I wanted you to handle that item 1 having Kelvin. Yes. That item.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Kazuga, help me scroll down a bit. Okay, please go ahead if you have anything to say.
Item 1, sir. Reading.
Yes. No, I wanted
says,
you to go to, yes.
To do what?
I wanted you to handle that second item one of about Kelvin. Kelvin got a first class something. Mr. Kaziba, help me scroll down. I want
But
that
the question
item
is,
with Kelvin.
okay, Calvin got first grade degree from Chambogo University. His aunt Daphne rewarded him with Ugandan shillings 5 million. Calvin is thinking of sir.
Yes, now go ahead. Yeah, the screen is seen.
Okay. Calvin got a first class degree from Chambogo University. His aunt Daphne rewarded him with Ugandan shillings 5 million. Calvin is thinking of using the funds to start a poultry business or retail shop as a sole trader, but he does not know the basis for selecting the business among the two ideas. In addition, he wants to ensure that his funds are planned well by allocating specific amounts to specific business activities, but he has inadequate skills to that effect. He has contacted you for assistance. Task with justification, guide Calvin to select a suitable business opportunity. Part B, come up with a budget for the selected business opportunity. Thank you, sir.
Okay, are you trying on part A or I give chance to another person?
Sir, I would wish you to give a chance to another person.
Okay, thank you so much for that good reading. Let me now give chance to which school? St. John's College Magale. Can you handle part A? Please unmute St. John's. Yes, St. John's. Please go ahead.
Okay. With justification on guiding Calvin to select a suitable business opportunity, I think we shall give him the factors to consider before selecting the best business opportunity. Like some of the factors may include the presence of market. Like before selecting the best business opportunity, he should first ensure that the business opportunity he's selecting has market within the community. Then another thing that it should be acceptable in the community. Like he may set up a business when it is not allowed in the community. So before setting up his business, before choosing any business of the two, he should ensure that the business is acceptable in the community. He should choose a he should choose a business that is within his skills. Like he may not be good at sole trading or counting large sums of money, but he may have that skill of poultry keeping. So he should select a business which is within his skills.
Perfect. Excellent submission. I have nothing to add on that. You have done it perfectly. Thank you so much, St. James. Let me now choose another school to also supplement on in case. I'm coming to
We are still on.
okay. Which school here? I want to balance and give chance to every school. Kabale Sanje SS. I give you chance. Please unmute Kabale Sanje SS.
I missed that out. They told
Yes.
someone.
Kabale, the floor is yours.
Okay.
Kabale.
Madam.
Kabale, please.
Hello.
Oh, now Magale, you can Magale, you mute and then allow Kabale to submit. Okay, Kabale, go ahead.
Madam, sir.
Let's go ahead.
It's like, hello, sir. So it's like
Yes,
for
we're able to
part
hear
A,
you. Yes.
it's like for part A, we're going to come up with a financial plan.
Part A. Which item
It's
are you
like
talking about?
on
No,
I'm talking about
item one. That yes, he's talking about with justification. Guide Calvin to select a suitable business opportunity. The previous school, I think it was Magale, talked about qualities of a good business opportunity. They wanted to give characteristics of a good business opportunity, not a financial plan. So go ahead and give me some qualities you consider when you are selecting a business opportunity. They talked about availability of capital. They talked about acceptance and the community. They talked about you should possess the skills before you select a business you want to take on. So add on some other points. What do you consider when you are choosing a business?
You must consider about the location.
Or you handle
where
part
he
B,
or
no
she-
problem. If you can handle part B. Any of what you are seeing on the screen, you can pick any.
Sir, it's like you give another chance to another
network.
person. Yeah.
Okay, but for guidance, you don't use when you are stating qualities. Don't say must, because it's not a must that the advice you are giving this person must use it. You instead use should, because it sounds more polite when you are advising someone to select something. So when you use should, that person has the right to either go with your advice or decline it. Thank you so much. Still, you can be on and then see how things fare. Let me give chance to another school here, Mariam High School, which is Then I'll also come to, okay, Acres of Hope SS Nebi. You prepare Rena College Mayuge. Your hand has been up right from the beginning. I'm also going to give you a chance. Please unmute for me one of them. Mr. Kaziba, help me and
But we're not here.
Cheche.
I think this week we are talking about friends who are not here.
Yes.
Hello? Hello.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir.
Hello? Hello. Bijeko nawe. Bijeko.
Teacher Richard.
Yes, I'm now back. I have been muted and I couldn't unmute myself. Okay. So now let me give a chance. Sorry for that. Now I'm going to give chance to, let me see the people who are carrying up the hands. Kihihi High School. Yes, Kihihi, you unmute yourselves. Ask to you unmute yourself, Kihihi. Okay. Let me. Yes. Go ahead. What is needed on how do we come up with a budget?
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
For the budget, we have to first, of course, it must have a title of the selected business opportunity, and then
Yes. Good.
you should in that heading you should put the exact amount of what you are budgeting for, such that
Good.
when you are giving the budget, that selected amount should completely be budgeted for. So we should also put a structure, and you identify the items you are buying. There should be the serial number, and which of
Yes.
it should be the first, and then followed by the item. We have the quantity and the what, and of course the amount. That is it's about the budget. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Perfect. I'm not adding anything on that. Thank you so much, Kihihi. Now let us maybe summarize by checking on item. It's already time, but they can scroll just for additional 2 minutes. Scroll down and see on item 2 how they can look like. Mr. Kazi will help me scroll on item 2. Okay. Okay. At this time, as they scroll the screen, if you have any question, we have almost come to the end of the session. You need to go for supper. Okay. Scroll on item 2, please. If you have a pinning question that you would want to pose right now so that you be helped, please cut up your hand. We give you a chance right now. And don't take long. You try to summarize your question so that you try to summarize your question because you already caught up with the time. I'm starting with the I'm starting with the Kumi City Secondary School. Please unmute yourself. Kumi City Secondary School. Unmute yourself. In case you have a question, you put ahead. If not, we proceed to another. Okay, Kumi, the floor is yours. Yes. I'm not able to hear you, please. Okay, looks like the network is not okay for you, Kumi. Maybe in the interest of time, Kumi, I'm not able to hear you. In the interest of time, let me also give chance to. Okay, I give chance to. Bukedi College, okay, Bukedi College Kachonga. Please. Giving chance to Bukedi College Kachonga. Okay. Busembatia SS. Please. Unmute yourself, Busembatia.
You can read for us this last question, item 2, and then we call it a day. I know we have a lot to discuss, but in the interest of time, we can. Yes, you say, but yeah, go ahead.
Yes, Master.
Yes,
Good,
go
good
ahead and
evening.
read. Good evening.
Master.
Yes.
For us, we just need a flashback about item 1. That
Flashback about item 1, about the topics.
About that, the item of Calvin.
Okay.
That talks about coming up with a budget for the select business opportunity.
Yes.
You select a business opportunity that is in the
Question.
scenario.
Exactly. In fact, part A said with the justification. So you choose one.
Then the other thing.
Yes.
You include the expenses on that budget according to the money that the scenario has.
Exactly. According to what the scenario has.
What you're saying that you have to be accountable until that 5 million gets over.
Yes. You have to account for that 5 million until it's over. And in the case, let's say you have reached 4 million and you don't see where to put the balance, you can even put the balance and say miscellaneous, or even say other expenses, and then you put the balance. Other expenses, you put there the balance.
Okay, sir, that's what we wanted.
Okay, thank you for asking. I'm also giving a chance to. We want to strike a balance.
Maybe assisting you read this item too.
Before you do that, let me first get some more SS. Okay, Rena College. Rena College, your hand has been up right from the beginning. Please unmute the microphone. Okay. Masindi SS. Let me give a chance to Masindi if Rena College is not. Okay. Kaka. St. Henry's College. Unmute yourselves. St. Henry's College. The floor is yours. You can even go through at item 2 and we call it a day, or you pose the question in case you have. I'm giving you a chance to ask some questions. Otherwise, we want to stop our session. Already we are out of time. Perhaps if another is organized, then we shall get a chance to share all these things and exhaust them in case we get another. St. Henry's? Okay. So allow me take this opportune moment to thank you all for sparing your time to attend this session. It has been a wonderful one. We had a lot of things to talk about. Of course, we couldn't summarize them all, but at least you have picked what is important. There are a lot of things to share. The elements of construct, you have identified them. Please go ahead and concentrate on identifying those particular topics, and then do the reading, consult the teachers. You will pass. I want to really wish you success in the forthcoming exams. Thank you all for attending. Thank you, Mr. Kaziba, for organizing this. I want to end the session at this particular time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Teacher Richard, for the wonderful session, and thank you so much, all the schools that have been able to join in this session. I'm going to share some form in the chat. I'm going to share some link. I will ask the teachers and those who can to give us some feedback. I'm sharing a link in the chat. Just click on that link and give us some feedback. We are gathering some feedback such that we can plan better come next week. So use that form that I've sent in the chat. I know today we disabled the chat, but I can turn the chat on such that you can give some feedback. And then tomorrow we shall be here again for geography. And then we shall share with you the timetable we shall use for next week. But next week, expect math, expect Sarah E, expect history, and then other subjects that we have not had this week. We want to thank you for your time. And please, in case of any questions, feel free to contact teacher Richard. He will be able to support you in whatever thing you need. Yes, so still we start our sessions at 4 from 4 to 6. And yeah, from 4 to 6. Thank you so much, and we want to wish you. Yes, so we have sent the questions, elements of construct in the chat, so you can use that link. In case you came in a bit late, we shall be able to share with you the recording for the session such that you can be able to access. Otherwise, thank you so much and have a lovely evening.